Hi everyone, welcome to our second webinar that we're doing. We're very excited about having our second broadcast of our bfoUP Young Producer webinars. So welcome to everybody that's we're getting started tonight with Ryan and Allison Nesbitt of Cedardale, and they'll be talking about making it work. And so if you're able to join us, everybody will be on mute. So if you have any questions to ask, you should have a panel to the side of your screen with GoToWebinar where you can type in any questions that you might have. We're going to ask those questions at the end, so just type them in, and myself, Jacqueline Hornberg, or Dan Ferguson will take note of them, and then we'll make sure that we ask later. Get off and rolling. Let me move along here. If you are interested but you missed our last webinar that we got started with, featuring Andrew Campbell, a fresh air farmer, we have all of those, or that webinar and all of our webinars to follow. They will be featured on our BFO website at ontariobeef.com/BFOUP_webinars. And then this webinar, of course, will be following that webinar. Even if you're on here tonight but you have to make a dash, if you missed the last one and would like to see it, then you can go to our website there and go take a look. We really encourage you to do so, obviously, because those are some great. Another key thing that really came up on the last webinar was young producer resources for people that are interested, obviously, in getting started farming, or farmers that are in the process of it but are just looking for ways to expand, or new ideas or mentors. And so we got a lot of questions that way. So myself, Jacqueline Hornberg, and Dan Ferguson tried to put together some links and resources you guys have access to, and get some of that information that you need. So if you visit .com and under the programs in the menus section, the bfoUP Young Producers link, you'll find resource links. And if you go on there, we've got a whole bunch of links and resources that you can go now and find. So they're under these different lists, from startup costs to succession plans, mentorship opportunities. We've got a whole bunch there, so we really encourage, if you had any questions last time about starting up or different ideas that you're just not sure on, we really encourage you to go take a look there and check that out. And if you have any questions that you can't find answered there, obviously there's going to be a lot that you don't, then we encourage you to reach out to myself, Jacqueline, or Dan, and we'd be happy to help you out there. This was in the last webinar if you were there, but I'm going to encourage it on probably all of them as to where you can learn more. Obviously our website, which I talked about, theontariobeef.com. While you're there, you can also sign up for our weekly e-newsletter on the bulletin board. You just go on the website, and that talks about different events and news that's going on in the industry. You'll find out things like this webinar on there, but also different trade shows or symposiums that might be going on that you might be interested in. If you are paying checkoff, you'll be considered a member, and you'll receive our magazine 5 times a year. If you aren't, then you can also call into the office and subscribe, and we'll be happy to get that out to you. And of course, social media, that's also a big one. If you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, there's lots of different information you can find there. And then, just as a tomorrow is Canada's Agriculture Day, so we strongly encourage all of you guys who are on here, obviously in the industry and in agriculture, supporting it in Canada. So we encourage you to reach out to your friends, family who might not be as involved as you, and support it, and really show them why you're proud to be a part of this industry, and let them know what you do and why it's important that they support it as well. So just remember what tomorrow is, and reach out to others and let them know. And last but not least, we're very excited about our third bfoUP Young Producer webinar. We're excited that we're featuring Ken Shouse of Shouse Land and Cattle Company and Jack Chafe of Chafe Farms. Both of them are successful feedlot here in Ontario that have done a lot for our Ontario beef industry. Ken, I'm sure a lot of you have seen on our social media, and also is very big advocate for the industry. And then Jack is our feedlot director on our board of directors, who has also done a lot for young beef producers and helping out with programs that way. So really, if you're interested in the feedlot sector and also just getting a better idea of that sector, to take part, because these two are really active, successful farmers that we have here in Ontario, and it would be a great way to just learn more and get some ideas that way. So that will be our third webinar. So just before we move on to our second webinar today, I'm just going to, to get you guys involved, have two polls just to kind of learn more about who our people are today that we're getting in. So let me get ready. So I'm going to send out a poll to you guys. So we obviously want these to be a little bit interactive, so you're not just sitting there doing nothing listening. So our first one is, did you take part in our last webinar? Because obviously we want to know who's taking part more and more. So if you could give us your answer there. And I'll close it in a few minutes here, or a few seconds. We obviously don't. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Share that with you guys. 50-50. So 50% of you joined us last time, so thank you for coming again. And 50% no, so we've got some new ones here, and so that's awesome to see too. We're really excited to have some new ones out and hope that you can join us next. So we have another one. We want to know, what background are you guys from? So what are your cow-calf, feedlot, general research? Oh, we want to know where you guys are coming from. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it's not surprising, as we obviously have purebred cow-calf speakers tonight. But 86% of the people who joined us tonight are cow-calf background, but we also have some backgrounders and feedlot people out tonight, which is great to see, along with some general industry people. So that's good that we've got a range of people out tonight, and so we're obviously happy that you can all come out and join us. So with that said, I'm just going to go back up here. So as I was saying at the beginning, we're excited to have Ryan and Allison Nesbitt of Cedardale Farms as our speakers tonight, and I'm going to hand it over to them here in a second for them to kind of introduce themselves. But Dan was in the office with me today, and I thought it was pretty cool to share what he showed me, what he grabbed while he was back. This cut chart from Canada Beef in our office, and Ryan and Allison didn't know I was going to show this, but it has them as kind of the cover people on it. So I just thought I would point it out to them that they're representing us all across Canada on the cover of Canada Beef here. So I thought that was kind of neat to show it to you guys just before we get started. So that's Ryan and Allison with their family there. The little girls have grown up a little bit, which you obviously saw in the picture, but I thought that was neat to show before we get started. So I will pass it over to Ryan and Allison right now. So as I'm doing that, move it over. Let's give a couple of while we're doing that. All right. I've unmuted you there, Allison. Can you?
Yep, we're here. Can you hear us now?
Yep, you're all there.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we don't see. So we're good to go.
You're good to
everyone. One thing we can't see is the screen, but that's okay.
Yeah. We'll see if that pops up here. There. There we go.
Okay.
There. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Okay. So thank you, Bethany. Yes, we didn't realize that on that cover of the magazine, so we appreciate that, and we appreciate yourselves and Dan and Jacqueline for asking us to take part in tonight. It was a hard act to follow last week with Andrew and his nice presentation, and we definitely will be taking part in next month's evening as well with the feedlot operators. So we look forward to that ourselves too. So we're ready to get started, and this is kind of our version of making it work for ourselves. It's definitely not perfect, and it's what works on our farm. We hope to share some information, but what works for us may not work for you, but it could start a conversation in what potentially could evolve for yourself. So some of the topics that we wanted to start tonight with was a little bit of background around ourselves, our involvement and role in Cedardale Farms, some of the projects that we do on the farm, and then how we find the balance for ourselves in what we're doing. So we met at the University of Guelph, and we both have a degree in agricultural business, Bachelor's of Commerce, and we graduated in 2007. That's a picture of our daughters. Anna is 7 now, and soon to be 8, she tells us, and Paige is 4. So they definitely bring a new dynamic to our lives, and it's never dull in our house. I grew up in the Ottawa Valley. I'm the youngest of 3 girls, and grew up on a small beef operation there. My dad worked off farm as well. We mainly started with a commercial herd of limo cows, and through the 4-H program, I was fortunate enough to start buying some Angus purebred animals, and we grew the herd to about 20. There's 15 or so there now in the Ottawa Valley, and then we have 8 or so to 10 here in Nestleton, where we get to dibble in the Angus business as well as the Charolais. The blacks do definitely stick out in a field of whites, and I'm very fortunate to be able to have them here as well, and enjoy it greatly. I started with TD Bank as an agricultural lender outside of university, and I worked there for 5 years, and then I joined Farm Credit Canada as a manager of customer service in 2011. I help cover the district. My main office is in Lindsay, but I help cover our district from Barrie to Kingston. So I do travel a little bit on a day-to-day basis, but it's most often I'm here in the morning and I'm here in the evenings as well. So we make it it's all hands on deck for that piece. I do find that this is a good balance for myself. I like to take part in the peak activities that need support here on the farm, whether it's the bull sale or processing days or different things like that. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm not entrenched in that as much as Ryan, for sure.